10 Ghost Stories That Will Haunt You for Life. Fearsome tales of apparitions, demons, and goblins have been recorded since ancient times and continue to captivate people today, from a creepy 200-year-old narrative etched on shattered pottery shards to amateur YouTube films of ghost chases. Even though science doesn't back up these paranormal occurrences, they have continued throughout history. Here are a few of the more gruesome cases. Number 10. Egyptian Ghost Story from 1200 BC. An ancient Egyptian ghost story that was unearthed on 4 pieces of pottery was translated and published in 1915 by Egyptologist Gaston Maspero. The story may have taken place in Luxor, prehistoric Thebes. Pictured top. In the tale, the ghost of a mummified man informs the Amun high priest of his current state. As I grew, I was unable to see the sun's rays. The ghost claims, I did not breathe the air, but every day I faced darkness, and no one came to look for me. Translation by Maspero. I am unable to determine the cause of the ghost's displeasure, but he appears to be lamenting some mishap that has occurred to him or his tomb. Maspero wrote. The ancient Egyptians had a strong belief in an afterlife and wrote a book of spells known as the Book of the Dead that they thought would assist them to pass into it. Number 9. 2. Po's Ghost. An ancient Chinese ghost named Tu Pa has vengeance on his mind. Tu Pa was a minister to the Chinese Emperor Suan before he passed away, lived 827, 783 BC. Around 786 BC. After an argument between the two, Suan executed Tu Pa despite being warned that Tu Pa would return to haunt him. Tu Pa did a lot more than just follow the emperor around, as the Chinese philosopher Mo Tzu noted. 3 years later, in 783 BC, Suan was murdered with an arrow fired by an apparition resembling Tu Pa in front of an assembly of feudal lords, lived 470, 391 BC. From Paul Roland's The Complete Book of Ghosts, translated by E. Pao Mei. Number 8. A Guy in Chains in Classical Athens. Pliny the Younger, a Roman senator who perished in the year 113 AD, related a chilling ghost story that has persisted to this day. There was a big, spacious mansion in Athens, but no one could live there because of its horrible reputation. When you listened closely, you could hear what sounded like chains rattling in the dead of night. These disturbances caused a specter to appear in the form of an old man, of extremely emaciated and squalid appearance, with a long beard and disheveled hair, rattling the chains on his feet and hands. The house was deserted and had to be rented out at a low rate. Athenodorus, a philosopher, is said to have rented the residence after learning of the legend and engaged the spirit directly. The ghost arrived, moved erratically, and then vanished. According to legend, Athenodorus quietly marked the location where the spirit disappeared and then gave the order to dig up the area the following morning. Number 7. Bathhouse that is boarded up. The ghost story from Plutarch, who wrote between A.D. 45 and 120, has a far more depressing conclusion than the one from Athens. A little child named Damon caught the eye of a Roman military commander in the Greek city of Chaeronea, who is said to have fallen in love with him. According to ancient accounts, Damon turned down the commander's advances, which infuriated him. Damon gathered a group of companions, ambushed the Roman commander, as well as several other Roman troops, and killed them knowing that he would be slain if he did nothing. The Chaeronean municipal council executed Damon and his companions. Following that declaration, Damon, who had escaped death, ordered the assassination of the council members. Number 6. The London Tower. The numerous castles in Britain are popular settings for ghost stories. The Queen's House is thought to be one of the most haunted locations in the 900-year-old Tower of London, according to Tower officials. King James I's cousin Arabella Stuart is one of the ghosts at the Queen's House. As a result of Arabella's error in marrying against the king's wishes, she was sent to the Tower. She is still doing her sentence, the ghost story claims. Another eerie story claims that the Martin Tower of the Tower of London is haunted by a ghostly bear. It is alleged that a guard who witnessed the imaginary bear passed out from shock. For a period of its history, the Tower of London housed a variety of animals, including bears. Number 5. The Aokigahara Woods. Over the past 2 decades, scores of suicide victims' bodies have been discovered at Aokigahara Woods in Japan, which is at the base of Mount Fuji. As a result, the forest has become a popular destination for depressed Japanese individuals to commit suicide. There are now signs in the woodland advising individuals to seek help instead of taking their own life. There are many ghost stories about the woodland, including multiple purported meetings with the apparitions of persons who have died there, some of which may be viewed on YouTube, given the number of suicides that have taken place there. Number 4. Roland Doe's exorcism. According to reports, a group of Roman Catholic priests performed an exorcism on a little child from Cottage City, Maryland in 1949 who went by the name Roland Doe, not his true name. Regarding Roland's purported abilities, there are contradicting reports. According to some legends, Roland possessed superhuman strength, was able to communicate in languages from antiquity that the boy was unaware of, and had the seeming ability to move or float the mattress he was laying on. Many of these claims have been disputed by investigators since 1949, who have presented data that suggests Roland was a psychologically unstable child who detested going to school and that his skills were not supernatural. In any case, the exorcism happened. The incident sparked William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist novel in 1971, which in turn sparked the well-known 1973 film. Number 3. Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. A photograph of the 300-year-old Raynham Hall in Norfolk, England, taken in 1936 shows a ghostly figure floating down the staircase. One of the most well-known ghost images ever shot, even though some experts think double exposure is to blame. The BBC says that Lady Dorothy Townsend, the second Viscount of the estate, may be the ghost of the 7,000-acre, 2,833-hectare house, which has a long history of hauntings. She had an affair, which her husband Lord Townsend was aware of before her passing, and she passed away in 1726, ostensibly from smallpox. She reportedly still wanders the manor while wearing brown clothing. Number 2. The ghost of the CCTV. In Surrey, England, there is a picturesque ghost at Hampton Court Palace. A skeletal person wearing ancient clothing was seen in 2003 by a CCTV camera shutting a robust fire door that had suddenly blown open. The ghost, known as Skeletor, received a lot of media coverage. Not just security personnel believed they were seeing something. Officials posted a statement on the Hampton Court Palace website stating that a visitor noted in the palace's guest book on the day that Skeletor appeared on camera that she also thought she had seen a ghost in that location. There are other spectral inhabitants of Hampton Court Palace besides Skeletor. One of Henry VIII's wives, Catherine Howard, was imprisoned there and is said to have been taken to her room while crying the entire time. She haunts a place known as the Screaming Gallery. Number 1. Amityville. The Amityville haunting is arguably the most well-known American ghost story. For the murders of his mother, father, and 4 of their children in 1974 in their Amityville, New York, home, Ronald Doe Jr. was found guilty. Investigators were baffled by the information that Ronald used a gun without a silencer and that there was no trace of a struggle inside the home. The Lutzes, a new family who had purchased the Amityville house at a reduced cost, moved there in 1975. Less than a month passed while they were there. According to stories from the family, during that period voices were heard throughout the house. Their daughter formed an imaginary acquaintance with a red-eyed pig named Jody. The house drew swarms of insects, there was banging on the walls, and the furniture was rumored to move by itself. How was the video? Do you enjoy it? Tell us in our comments section below and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates.